Hello and welcome back to Investing for Generations, your channel for high quality stock research for long-term value investors. And as every weekend, I want to give you my weekly update on the week 4 of 2021. And I will go through with you the news of the week and then also what I think about the whole market and if we maybe will see a market crash soon. And then, of course, give you my weekly insight in my portfolio, my winner of the week, my loser of the week, the performance this week, and also the performance overall. And so you will get here full transparency on my real money North American portfolio. And this week, a lot of companies in my portfolio reported their Q4 earnings. I made a few videos about these companies and the earnings. So you find videos from Caterpillar, MasterCard, American Express on my channel. Overall, I just want to give you a resume of these numbers. Very positive. Caterpillar, MasterCard, American Express, and Facebook beat the estimates. And so, of course, I'm very happy with that. I'm invested in very, very profitable, very stable businesses, even in these very difficult times of the pandemic situation. And this shows me just how good these businesses are. And so I'm very happy, and so I can sleep very good every night to be a owner of these companies. And the only company who missed the estimates last week was Chevron. They reported a loss of 1 cent per share. This was disappointing, and of course, the reason for that is the very low oil price over the last year, overall 2020, and we will see how this will turn out. Q4 wasn't really good, and we will see how they move on. And here we see the weekly performance of my portfolio, and this week my portfolio lost 3.59% compared to the S&P 500, which lost minus 3.66%. And so this week wasn't really good, was a really red week. And the question is maybe a crash ahead? Is this maybe the beginning of the end? If we look at the Schiller P ratio, then we see that overall the market is really high valuated right now at 33.82. And just to put this in perspective, median of the Schiller P ratio is 15.81. And so we are really, really high, even over the median. And the Schiller P ratio is even higher than 1929. So keep that in mind. Overall, we have a very, very high valuated stock market, of course, under very strange circumstances with almost free money and all the central banks just printing and printing and printing, and a lot of this flow, of course, into the stock market. But at some point, this will burst, and is there maybe really a crash ahead? But then I come back to Warren Buffett, and he said, don't try to time the market because it's just impossible. Nobody knows how long this bull market can run. It can end on Monday. It can also last for the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever. Nobody knows. And so it makes no sense to think about and to try to time the market. The thing you can do is buy great businesses for reasonable prices and then just stick with it. But of course, to do that, the most important thing is you have to know the value of your business. And here you see an Excel sheet of all the positions in my portfolio with the current price, the buy price, my calculated intrinsic value, and the distance to the intrinsic value. So I have this always in view. And here you see that MasterCard, for example, is 23% overvalued, and Berkshire, for example, 34% undervalued. This is very, very important to me to have this in view. And as I said also in some of other videos before, Right now, there are not a lot of opportunities to buy good businesses, great businesses, way under the intrinsic value, and that's a goal for me. I want to buy my businesses way under the intrinsic value, and right now it's just Intel and Berkshire I keep an eye on, but Intel, my position is already the biggest in my portfolio, so I will um, maybe just add a little bit more. And Berkshire, I will add over time always a little bit more. There was no flow of dividends into my portfolio, so nothing on this front. And so we come to the winner of the week, and the winner of the week is really a kind of funny thing to say about Intel this week, because Intel gains 0.13%, and with that is the best performing stock in my portfolio in the last week. As you know, maybe from my other videos, I'm very, very bullish for Intel, and I think we have a great cash flow machine here, uh, which is just not loved by Wall Street uh, and by the market. And with the new CEO, I hope they also can find a way back to innovation. This is the biggest problem they have. Overall, they have still a great market position, will still great cash flows. So no worry about that, and the price is still way under the intrinsic value. So I think here is really a big chance for a long-term investment. And so I bought into Intel. You can see this here on these green dots at different times. And of course, where's a winner, there's a loser, and the loser of the week is Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo lost 7.32% over the last week. Wells Fargo is really a problem in my portfolio. As you maybe know, they have a lot of problems. They had a lot of problems with the trust in this bank after a lot of scandal. And so I will not add to this position even if they look cheap. And I think it's possible they make the turnaround. It's uncertain. It's maybe the most uncertain stock in my portfolio, and so I will not add. I will just hold and hope that they can make the turnaround. And then I want to give you an overview of all my positions and the weekly performance. And as I said, this is very, very red. Facebook, very weak last week. And so almost all of my positions. This is really red, and overall, as I showed you before, over 3% lost in the last week. So it's just 1 week, but it seems like the market overall is a little bit shaky right now, and we will see how this turns out. And then a look at my overall performance from the 2nd of December 2019. This was the day when I started this portfolio. And since then, we see that Walt Disney is the best performer in my portfolio with 66%, Caterpillar with 63%, and so on. And the only two positions in the minus are Wells Fargo and Jack Henry. I told you before about Wells Fargo. Jack Henry is a really great business. I will stick with it even if the stock price is weak over the last, and so I will just hold it. Jack Henry is one of the best performer over the last decade in the stock market, and it's still a high profitable business. I just didn't bought it at the right time. I just bought it too expensive, and so now I suffer a little bit, but I will stick with it because it's just a great business. And if the stock price will fall even a little bit more, maybe I will add to my overall small position. And here also I want to show you the pie of my whole portfolio. You see Intel with 8.52% is the biggest position in my portfolio, followed by the Bank of Nova Scotia, Berkshire Hathaway, American Express, and so on. And I also sit on a cash position of almost 20%, and I will also add to that. I have a little bit of free cash, and I will add to that, so that also the cash position will go up, I think, in the next week. And so I'm prepared if maybe really there will be a correction or even a crash. There is some money to add to my positions or even to new positions. I also have a watch list of around 10 stocks I would love to have, but just not to the very high prices right now. And so my performance overall since the 2nd of December 2019 is 38.24%, compared to the S&P 500, which have performance of 19.28% over the same time span. And so my outperformance is almost exactly 19% over this time, and I'm very happy with that. As I said, it was really a kind of difficult week last week. We will see how this turn out. Overall, of course, this portfolio is made for the long term, so uh, the weekly changes are interesting. Of course, I follow that, but it's not the most important thing, of course. So that's it for today. If you like the video and if you like my transparency on my portfolio, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I will give you every week an insight to my portfolio and the performance, and of course every move I make. And also I do 1 or 2 videos per week with stock analysis, comments on the earnings, and so on. And if you're interested and find any value in that, just subscribe to my channel and follow me on my road to financial freedom. So see you then. Take care. Bye bye.